بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق أجمعين الصادق الأمين شفيعنا يوم الدين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Dear researchers, dear scholars, today we go in the fifth session, fourth official, the fifth session on the course, you remember, research methods in literature. In the previous session, as I remember, we dealt with some important concepts like the meaning of research, the importance of research, the objectives of the research or research objectives. Also, we dealt with the motivation of research, with some points. Also, we mentioned the types of research or categories or genres of research, some approaches to deal with research, and the significance of research. Beside the topic and its importance, how to find a good, suitable, reasonable topic, how to develop or modify your topic. All these are topics we covered them in the previous sessions. Also, as we remember to connect our ideas with the new ones, you remember the course of your work, the plan, the course, the scheme of your doing, starting with how to write a research proposal. What are the elements of the research proposal? The purpose of research proposal also. Again, research proposal aims. Purpose and aims, someone can say they are similar, someone can say that they are different. They are in fact different with a bit little similarity. Again, another topic, you remember it, how long is a research proposal? I mean, all these elements are important, are significant, since they guide researchers and scholars like you to achieve their task in academic writing perfectly. I'd like to remember some other points like implications and contributions to knowledge. When we define a research, why we make or do or write the research or researches. One of the most important elements is what is to contribute to the knowledge, to the experience, to the advancements of society or societies. Then, as you remember, going to the end mostly of the research related to or dealing with what you call reference list or bibliography or references or works cited. All these are similar. Well, going back to the session of today, we are going also to deal with some significant points, some crucial elements or aspects to help us, the researchers, dealing with the academic writing perfectly, in a good way, in a perfect way. So you remember the title is Learning the Conventions of Academic Writing. The key word in this situation is what is the conventions? What are the conventions? What are the rules guiding the researcher in achieving what his or her paper, dissertation, or thesis? Let's read, let's discuss, and analyze or assess the most important ideas in our lecture today. Starting with with the meaning of academic writing. Not every writing can be suitable to be a research, a dissertation or thesis or paper or article in a journal. No. So academic writing has specific characteristics, qualities, traits, and conventions. Right? Yeah. Research writing in each discipline follows certain conventions. Certain conventions, we mean specific rules to be followed And when we say conventions, like traditions, rules, points, elements, aspects, are followed with all researchers. East or west, north or south, they have to follow them, right? So they are what? Conventions, like something taken for granted by all researchers, following specific rules. Special forms are required for citing a resource or resources and designing pages. Pages should be specified with a design, a specific design through a specific style. Okay? If you write a short story, for example, you can write it whatever style you make. It is open, you are free. But for academic writing, especially the researching paper or work or dissertation or thesis, no. The best selling story might not be fit as an academic writing. So what we have conventions to be followed, we have rules. So these rules make uniform the numerous articles written internationally. Look, so it is again not specified to a place or time, to a group of people. No, it is what? Universal. By millions of scholars. So remember, millions of scholars, they are what? Dealing with academic writing, academic researches, academic research. So all of them, they are what? They are following specific or similar, what we call conventions, traditions, style of writing, designs, and rules. The Society of Language and Literature Scholars, what is called the Modern Language Association. The Modern Language Association is abbreviated through the initial letters MLA, known now as MILA, has a set of guidance or guidelines, generally known as MILA style, to be followed. Some journals, some universities, they specify the style of their writing in referencing either in text citations or the final references, what we call, they compel the writers to use MILA style. This is one, a style, international, famous style. Similarly, the American Psychological Association has its own style, and it is famous with the initial letters of the words APA style, referring or denoting American Psychological Association. Are they the only two systems with their styles concerning writing researches, papers, dissertations, theses? No, there are others. But these are what? Two of the most famous or significant or public, what we call, styles of citing in writing academic research. Other groups of scholars prefer a footnote system, writing depending on what? On footnoting, that these references to be at the end, either footnote at the end of the page or end note. It can be what? End note at the end of the paper, at the end of the chapter, of each chapter, since the dissertation or thesis of an MA or PhD can be what? Long and divided into chapters, while still others use a numbering system. What we understand that there are several what we call systems or styles in referencing or in making cited works in bibliography. These variations are not meant to confuse researchers. No, they help. But each site, university or journal, for example, they have a scope, they have a target. Okay, what is it? Unity. And what is easy for researchers? What is easy for this person can be not easy for another. Okay, according to these variations, systems are various. Systems or styles or designs in making such references are what are various. But finally, they are what? They are similar. They are taken for granted on the elements to be contained. Okay? Yeah. What is important for you? Here, you means all researchers. Right now is to determine which documentation style you use. Now we have two essential styles, MIL and APA. To say an idea from this point of view, from this what you call situation, from this session or lecture, we in Al-Baha University, we mostly use what we call MIL referencing or citing works cited using the style of MIL. Okay, especially in the human sciences research, in the humanities. Okay, many compositions instructors will ask you to use MIL style, but they are just likely to ask for APA style if your topic concerns with the social sciences. As a preference, as I mentioned, in a like manner, similarly, your art history instructor might expect the footnote style, but could just as easily request the APA style. And personally, I use the APA styles in my papers, in my researches, since the majority of the journals which I deal with require or request the APA style in their documentation, in their referencing, in text or in the final what you call referencing. To get a help, ask your instructor early which style to use and organize accordingly. Here is a sort of helper, but instead of instructor, we replace it with what? With the supervisor or guide. After you are about to start your dissertation or your thesis, you will be assigned with what? With an instructor. It is called a supervisor or guide. He or she should help you in this matter, according to the system of what? Of the university, not randomly, not each instructor or supervisor to ask or to tell or to inform the researcher, use APA or use MIL randomly, or no. It should be with what? With a system. That the system is followed in the university, especially in the what you call faculty of sciences, the English department, and foreign languages, because it is connected with humanities. They have what? A condition. Okay, this condition that to be followed a certain style. Okay, regardless of the research style that you employ, your writing should advance substantive issues and inquiry. What is that? Taking the references as important point, yes, but that doesn't mean that your research itself not to be substantial. It should be substantial. It should be original. Okay, the references, either in text references or final references, bibliography or others, they are what? They are completing. They are helping, okay, supporting the substantiality, fundamentality, originality, authenticity of what? Of the research you are doing. This is important. Moving to another point, understanding and avoiding plagiarism. Plagiarism and what is plagiarism? Yeah, very interesting point, very crucial point, significant and dangerous also. Researchers should take care of this word. It is not a word, it is morality, it is behavior, it is honesty. Either to be honest or dishonest. When you go with loyalty and honesty, and this point, this what you call vocabulary, this term, mars morality before writing, not marring the work, marring the morality, marring humanity. Okay, so what is plagiarism? How can we avoid plagiarism? In a research, any scientific research, in Islamic studies, in Arabic studies, in English, with all its genres, in medical studies, in engineering studies, plagiarism is prohibited. Plagiarism is a negative point of view. A researcher should avoid it. Simply, there are simple ideas to avoid plagiarism. The most important convention of academic writing is the principle of giving proper credit to the work of others. Here's your point of view. Giving proper credit to the work of others. Why credit? Because your work is not your original work. A research is not your story. A research is a proposal. Searching, seeking ideas, proper ideas. From what? From different sources, supporting your ideas or evaluating the ideas which you need to prove, to validate. From this point of view, the work is not yours. You have an idea and you follow this idea through what? Through the help of others, of other sources, of others' minds. For this case should be proper credit, giving proper credit to the work of others. Plagiarism is defined as the act of claiming the words of or ideas, the words or ideas of another person as your own. Simply to say that, so plagiarism is stealing, the process of theft. Simply like that. Will any person be happy if others indicating to him or her that he is a thief? No, of course. So yeah, if a person taking the ideas of another person, okay, and says that it is his or her, it is what we call theft, process of stealing, plagiarism. Plagiarism is a serious violation of the ethical standards of academic writing. So we call it plagiarism, dealing with what? With morality, with humanity, with morals. And most colleges and universities have strict rules or penalties, including academic probation or expulsion for students who are guilty of plagiarism. If discovered that a researcher could not avoid plagiarism, his work will be what? Will be rejected, will be refused. Not only that, this researcher will be what we call Not going to jail, no, but will be guilty. In what? In what you call a behavior, a sort of behavior. Okay. Most schools refers also to what? To any educational institutions, such like the universities, colleges, even that can be suitable. Most schools publish an official code of student conduct, sometimes called an academic integrity policy, like terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. People should follow. And you, as a researcher, should be familiar with this document or these documents as it applies to your research and writing. When you are doing your research, so those terms, okay, academic terms, they are applied, okay, as something different. No one should avoid them, should follow them. Those are what we call conditions. Some students will knowingly copy whole passages from outside sources into their work without documentation. Here is direct what you call plagiarism. It is plagiarism. Others will buy research papers from online sources or friends to take something greedy, to steal. Yeah, it is buying, but it is a way of stealing. Not the book, not the papers, but the ideas and the mind and the thoughts of the owner of that book or that research or papers. These intentional acts of academic dishonesty, okay, dishonesty, underline it with a red, not only with a blue. Dishonesty are the most blatant or unashamed or unconcealed or even unflagrant forms of plagiarism. So honesty reminds us with the saying of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said that dishonesty, that dishonest is not a Muslim. That dishonest is from what? From cheating, lying, stealing. Specifically, lying. Lying. When you take something and you say that it is yours, it is a way of lying. Okay? Al-kadhib are the most blatant forms of plagiarism. I think the point is clear. حديث آخر عنه صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من غشنا فليس منا أو ليس منا. The cheater is not a Muslim. Like that. We realize that. Cheater means the sin, liar or stealer or whatever. Another point to realize is unintentional plagiarism. Even with unintentional, it is a bad behavior. It is still plagiarism. However, it's still a violation of academic integrity. The one who says, for example, oh, wallahi, I forget, I don't know, I have no idea. Still, all these unintentional, what you call excuses, are bad behavior connected with what? With plagiarism. Process of plagiarism doesn't go with what you call unknowing or unintentional. No, it is there. Why? Because the process is documented in a research paper, in a thesis, in a dissertation. Okay. Unacknowledged use of another person's sentences, phrases, or terminology, each and every and all, is plagiarism. Sentences, phrases, terminologies are plagiarism. Sentences is using a sentence, using a phrase, using a term is plagiarism. So sort of warning. So, warning. Provide a citation and use quotation marks, okay, to show exactly where you are drawing on others' work. Yeah. Be in the safe side. Be in the safe side. Okay. Concerning with morality, concerning with respect, concerning with what? With copyright. Similarly, unacknowledged use of another person's ideas. We spoke about sentences, about phrases, terminologies. The same with ideas. Research or approach is also plagiarism. So write carefully, careful parenthesis. How can we say about ideas? When you speak about another person's ideas, the same ideas, but you bring them, you brought them, you bring them your own way without referring to that these ideas are taken or understood from Flan, since they are documented. Since they are what documented? It is plagiarism. Okay? Because we have some other points not necessary to be cited, to be documented, if they are what? If they are not documented. Okay? Like what we call factual, what you call elements. So we have another title, using sources to enhance your credibility. Credibility, again, authenticity, originality, honesty. These sources to support, to enhance your credibility in your work, in your research, in your writing. Research is sometimes you need to share, not to hide. And this is very important to comment about this point. After you finish your dissertation, okay, what do you think? Which is better, to publish it, to share it, to make it known, or to hide it? In fact, to share it, to make your knowledge, which you acquired through learning, okay, appears to others, that others can use. And here is the answer of the first, what you call main question we asked at the beginning of our sessions. Okay, research should add, okay, to the knowledge of societies. People should benefit of good ideas and avoid bad ideas or elements or whatever. So on. Okay, not to hide. If you say, okay, I don't care, I just want to get the research paper, the research dissertation, and I don't care to hide it, it means that there is something defect. There is something missing in your work. Your work means the future, which you are what? Not qualified in making it perfect. Okay? Applying all the forms or the conditions related to what? To research writing or academic writing. What some students fail to realize is that citing a source in their papers, even the short ones, signals something special and positive to your readers. Why you hide your work, since there are good elements that people can make use of? Why you hide your work, since your work can help others? It is the idea. Every person, a man or woman, male or female, academics and researchers, in achieving good research, he or she will be what? Will be proud in making his or her work public. Okay? You have researched, searching and searching and searching. You have researched the topic, explored the literature about it, have the talent to share it. Yeah. After achieving, have the talent to share it. It is, of course, your ideas mixed with the experience and others, with the ideas of others. Why not? what prevents, but to what? To be lawful. Okay, related what or connected with the conventions of making a research, doing a research, writing a research. So research writing exercises your critical thinking and your ability to collect data. As I said, so data is not your own. It is collected from others, related to the topic, related to the proposal you made, how to achieve your target. You will discuss not only the subject matter, such as the degradation of peril soil, resources, but also the literature of the topic. Here is just an example. If you need to make to make sure of others, what did they say about your point of view, such as the articles from the internet and current periodicals found at your library's database, to use it in the condition that it should what? It should add significantly to the assistance, to the evaluation, good evaluation of your work, to the support, to prove your idea. Okay? By announcing clearly the name of a source, you reveal the scope of your reading and thus your credibility. Again, as we mentioned, credibility has a great position in what? In research writing. الاعتمادية, how to make your work authentic or original, معتمد, approved. Okay, that sentence borrows too much. It's in doubt. Cite the source and place it within its proper context. Another point. Okay, placing your work in its proper context. Here we have context and proper, and you're searching, you're doing. Where to put it? It should be what? It should be placed in a proper place. Your sources, after reading, collecting, getting ideas, will reflect all kinds of special interest, even biases. If you think that those biases are not crucial, okay, yeah, you have to refer to them if you use them. So you need to position them within your paper as reliable sources, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful about what? Originality, authenticity. Again, originality, authenticity. Not everything can be talked about. The point of view can be what can be authentic. Yeah, you should be careful about that. If you must use a biased or questionable source, tell your reader up front. You have to comment on it. Okay, you have to tell the reader, okay, the opinion which you have taken this point of view from where. Sometimes you can find what you call partial or impartial people. Impartial people, the partial people who are what? Don't care about except their own. Don't care about except their own. So we are what? We are dealing with impartiality, with fair play, fair play. For example, if you are writing about the dangers of cigarettes, do you smoke? No, I don't think that. Dangers of cigarette smoke, you will find different opinions in farmers' magazines, the grower, the health and fitness magazines, the enemies of cigarette, and a trade journal sponsored by what? A tobacco company, and this is a promotion. This one will be different from this one, different from that one. Okay, can we depend on what we call in this journal, which is just only a promotion of propaganda about what? About the tobacco company? Can we make it reliable, authentic? No, because this one is against what the health and fitness magazine will say about what the danger of what of cigarette smoking. Okay, so look, I mean, this is a journal, that's a journal, this is a paper, this is a book. But which one is reliable? Which one is valid? Okay, which one is honest also? How can we discover them? Through what? Through the cleverness, the skillfulness of what? Of the researcher, of you individually and collectively. You owe it to your readers to scrutinize. Yeah, you have to examine. You have to make sure. Scrutinize internet sites closely and examine printing articles for several points of view. You need to realize these several points. One, special interest that might color the report. Just coloring, not adding to the what you could to the significance of the paper. Proof to the heart of the work. Lack of credentials, because credentiality, as we mentioned, credentiality is of great importance. You have to think about it. If there is lacking, so it is marring. And sponsored website. Sponsored, okay. Unsponsored, open, like even Wikipedia now. So we have a difference element between Cyclopedia and Wikipedia. Cyclopedia should be authentic. Wikipedia is an open source. Anyone can write. Anyone can edit. Okay? So we have to be careful about that. Opinionated speculations, especially that found in blogs and in chat rooms. When you go to Google blogs or any other blogs for personal, what you call beliefs, a person is what is partial about his opinions. They are wrong, but he or she feels or believes that they are true. Can we call it, I mean, the blog or the idea or ideas, can we call them authentic or original? No, we have to be careful about that. Read magazines that promote special interest. Yeah, should not be included as what? As reference for cited work. Extremely liberal or extremely conservative positions. This or that. I don't believe in what you could negotiation. هنا الاختلاف يفسد للود قضية لا يجعل هناك ود. Okay? Yeah. Extremist. التطرف. How can we believe in it? How can we, I mean, think of it as what? As original source to help? Unless it is accredited. Okay? There are some crucial point of view. I mean, okay, outside literature. In literature, no. There should be what we call originality, authenticity, okay, impartiality, thinking about the idea with fairness, not to take the point of view from this person, from this book, from this source as taken for granted and nothing else. No, we have to believe in what? In variation. Okay. Next point is what? Understanding copyright. Again, this is very, very important and very dangerous element if we could not understand it and taken it into what? Consideration. The principle behind copyright law is relatively simple. Simple and systematic and organized. Copyright begins at the time a creative work is recorded in some tangible form. A written document, a drawing, a video recording, like movies or whatever, like now. It doesn't depend on a legal registration with the Copyright Office in Washington, D.C. Although published works are usually registered. Thus, the moment you express yourself creatively with your own work on a paper, in a song, on a canvas, That expression is your intellectual property. It is your own now. You have to what? To defend your copyright. You have a vested or bestowed or devolved, assigned, this is repeated, interest in any profit made from the distribution of the work. Your work, you made huge, what you call, effort in its production, a book or whatever. So you are the owner. How can the others make use of it without giving you your rights? Here is the idea, which now internationally, okay, dealing with it with something called copyright. For that reason, songwriters, cartoonists, those who are related or dealing with cartoon filmmakings, either the drawers, the producers, the directors. Okay. Besides that, we have fiction writers and other artists should guard or protect their work and don't want it disseminated without compensation. Yeah, it is your effort, it is your own right. Why others steal it without what you call compensation, without funding, or giving you what you deserve? Consequently, copyright law in the social networking context remains in flux or fluidity, mutuality, change. All these means the same because of what rapid advancements and changes in online technology. 50 years ago, the matter was different than today because of what we call that, not the rapid changes in technology. It is not monthly, it is every day changed. There should be what you call, there should be rules to control such elements, okay, for the protection of copyright or others. The recent attempt to prevent the downloading of music onto private computers is demonstration of this concern, even if it is difficult, but it should. The ease with which internet users are able to distribute copyrighted information has dramatically increased the prevalence of copyright infringement, making away a sort of problematic danger. Danger is behind that. Okay, in some respected countries and respected people who believes in honesty, they should not distribute what we call copyright information. Okay, there should be like that. If people are distributing copyrighted information without a sort of compensation, it is plagiarism. It is theftiness, stealing. And we have to realize that to avoid it as we can. Since our religion, we are proud of that, our religion, Islam, shows us, guides us to how to be honest with the minimum degree of honesty, how to avoid stealing, theftiness, plagiarism, and those elements we are finding clues from them. Okay, just hint how to, make what we call Muslim people to be proud of such elements. If the opposite is happening, it is a problem of the Muslim himself, of the person. Right. However, it is important for the student researcher, you, to distinguish his or her classroom efforts from profit-generating websites. Scholarly writing is not profit-making profession, like what you are going to do. It is not being done for profit. but it is done for what? For the help of society, for the support of society. Okay? But the writers certainly deserve recognition. Yeah? It is yours. Why to be neglected? We can give that recognition by providing in-text citations and bibliography. What could bibliography? Entities. As a researcher, I don't like student, in fact, but it is available what to do. As a researcher, you may use copyrighted material in your research paper under a doctrine of fair use. Yeah. If someone is using your work, he or she should refer to it as described in the US code. Thus, as long as you borrow from or for educational purpose or purposes, such as a paper to be read by your instructor or your guide, your supervisor, you should not be concerned. Just give the source the proper recognition and documentation. Behavior, honesty. However, if you decide to publish your research paper after finishing, after discussing research paper, after finishing, after discussing or defending your research, you get the certificate, you have the ability to what? To publish your work, your research, your dissertation on conditions. You have to what? To be careful about what? About the citations you used. Are they permitted to be online or not? Okay. Then new considerations come into play. What is that? When we say that the research is not with profit, yeah, it is allowed to make citations without taking permissions from the original book or books or journals. But if you made your research work published, no, then in this case, you have to seek permission, okay, to publish material on your website or your book or any website. All these elements, what the researcher should be careful about that. Another reaction to plagiarism is what is avoiding. How to avoid plagiarism? Avoiding plagiarism. It is necessary for each single researcher to avoid plagiarism. There are a number of steps you can take to avoid plagiarizing. First, develop personal notes full of your own ideas on a topic. Let's stop here with full of your. What does that mean? Full of your own ideas on a topic. It means that after you read from different sources or even from a source, read, understand, and write your own. Okay, following 90% to be your ideas, your argumentative point. Here is the idea. Not just to take the ideas and to paraphrase them without reference. Even paraphrasing sometimes needs to refer to the source. Then discover how you feel about the issue. Is it the same as you read? Means you did nothing. Did you bring something new? Yes. In this case, if you have idea that it is different, you are right. It is yours now. And the ideas, the point of views are yours. Then, after that, rather than copy sources one after another on your page or text, try to express your own ideas while synthesizing the ideas of the authorities. Synthesizing here means composing or making or writing by using summary, paraphrase, direct quotations. All these are what are accepted. Summary means one page to be summarized with the main point into a paragraph, some lines to take the heart of the idea. Paraphrase, you reformulate it all by what in a different way, not to have it as it is, but also through paraphrasing, it is necessary sometimes to refer to the source. Or direct quotation, compulsory, obligatory, you have to what? To refer. After develop, then discover, and then what we call try, rethink. Rethink and reconsider. Think again, consider again the ideas gathered during your reading. Make meaningful connections. And then, or when, you refer to the ideas or exact words of the source, as you inevitably will. حتمي لا مجال للمراوغة. No, you will do. Give the other writer full credit because they deserve it. He deserves it, or she deserves it. The other writer deserves his own. It's a sort of compensation. He or she, in his work, paper, book, research, has made great effort. Why we do wrong against him or her? Okay, so now still avoiding plagiarism. To repeat, plagiarism is offering the words or ideas of another person as one's own. So the idea is repeated, but for what? For what you call stressing or supporting the point of view. Major violation, which can bring failure in the course or expulsion from school. From school again, when you see school, it means even from university work. From a program in the university, school is general idea, general meaning for what? For educational institutions, starting from the elementary school until the universities, until the high studies. So what are the repeating elements of plagiarism? Like what? I mean, take care of these. Take care of this again. The use of another student's work. The purchase of a canned, repeated, or researched paper. What else? Copying whole passages into a paper without documentation. In the university, sometimes we face this, what we call joke. A silly joke, yes. It is a silly joke. When we find a student, he or she, the first one has worked in a good way. The second one, oh, Flan, I did not make a good, what you call, paper that the doctor required. Can you give me yours? And copy paste and submit. Look to the silliness of such work by some dishonest people. Again, so copying the whole passages into a paper without documentation. Documentation means referring to the source, to the original. Copying a K will worded phrase into a paper without documentation. Again, even part. Putting specific ideas of others into your own words without documentation. Ideas, not words, ideas. You paraphrase without referring. Inadequate or missing citation. If you forget what you call carefulness. Inadequate or missing citation. Here what we call again carefulness. The opposite of carefulness is what? Carelessness. It is inadequate. You are not what you call thinking of what are you doing. Okay, you forget, you should revise, you should revise again until you make sure that it is what it is perfect or correct. Missing quotation marks. Okay, sir, it is what it is. Nothing, just the quotation marks. No, these quotation marks mars the work, devastates the work, destroy the work. The quotation marks are reference to what to the quotation. If you missed them, you did not make a quotation at all. Another point is incomplete or missing work cited entry, whether deliberate or not. Here we say what we call inadequate or missing citation, deliberate or not. Okay, by intention or without intention. These instances, these examples are all constitute forms of plagiarism. Gentle researchers, even if you think that they are what just something easy, not very crucial, no, they are what? They are a sort, a kind, a form of what of plagiarism. Another point we need to think about is what unintentional plagiarism is often a result of carelessness. Yes, as I mentioned, carelessness. For example, when you say, I don't know, I forget, I don't know. Yeah, it is what you call great mistake. How can you don't know? Why you don't know? Why you not to know? Instead of say, I don't know, or معلوم نهي, carelessness. And carelessness is not related to a good researcher. For example, the writer fails to include quoted material within quotation marks, yet he or she provides an in-text citation with name and page number. In what we call carelessness. And the work is marred with what we call with great carefulness. The opposite of carelessness, it should be with great carefulness. Another point, the writer's paraphrase never quite becomes paraphrase. Too much of the original is left intact. Yeah. Too much of the original, the same, without change, without quoting. But he or she provides a full citation to name and page. Again, carelessness. In these situations, instructors, we say that supervisors or guides must step in and help the beginning researcher, for although these cases are not flagrant instances of plagiarism, they can, okay, as we say, even if they are not crucial positions or instances, they will mar an otherwise fine piece of research. If the research is good, with some little what we call problems concerning plagiarism, so these points will mar the work to be not perfect. If it is good, fine, it will be marred, not complete. Common knowledge. What about common knowledge? Now, common knowledge for many what we call critics-related academics, they don't ask for what? For direct reference or bibliography or even citation. Look, you don't need to document information that is considered common knowledge. This is what I referred at the beginning. If it is common or factual knowledge, sometimes you need to make a direct citation. Nevertheless, okay, on the other side, how do you know what is or is not common knowledge? You have to be careful again. You have to know, you must use the following criteria to determine whether or not a particular piece of information can be considered common knowledge. Okay, again, you need to be careful about that. These are the elements to help you. local knowledge. Concerning local knowledge, we have examples. Okay, we have examples here. For local knowledge, المعرفة العامة المحلية. Everyone knows. Okay, everyone knows. You can find them in hundreds of whatever references. They became common knowledge or local knowledge. You and your reader might share local or regional knowledge on a subject. For example, if you attend Northern Illinois University, you need not cite the fact that Illinois is known as the land of Lincoln, that Chicago is the largest city, or that Springfield is the capital city. All these ideas are what are common. They are local, yeah, but they are general knowledge. Information of this sort requires no text citation. Another example, if this one is what we call ambiguous, you can select, for example, if you talk, all of you will talk the same, okay, about King Abdulaziz and his process of unifying the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The processes, the ideas, the information, the historical elements are what are local knowledge. Everyone knows and should know. In this case, when you express, when you mention them in your work, no need for what? For documentation or for referring with a site, a source, a book, or whatever. But not all cases. If there are crucial elements documented, okay, in a reference, in a book, yeah, in this case you must refer, okay? Another point that no need to document or to refer in your cited work is what is called shared experiences. The experiences which is now shared by all, like what? Coursework and lectures will give you and members of your class a similar perspective on the subject. Like this lecture, we are dealing on the importance of plagiarism, citations, quotations, referencing, bibliography. Okay, when you refer to this lecture, no need to cite it in your work, because it is called what you call shared experience, okay? Unless there is a specific documentation taken from another source, as it is, or paraphrased, okay? Look, for example, students in a literary class studying, like this one, African American writers would share common information so that students might write without documentation, something like this one. This is just what example to help you. As I said, when you write what you call paragraph or paragraphs about King Abdulaziz bin Saud, from your own, from your experience, which you got through your studies in the intermediate, in the secondary school, in the university, and from the TV, from the newspaper, from no need for such a way. Look, Langston Hughes, an important poet in the 20s and 30s, became a leader of the Harlem Renaissance. And like so many writers, he took great pride in his African American heritage. For this passage, it is known for everyone in America. No need to quote it with a quotation from a source, unless it is written as it is, to complete it. He was not afraid to use the vernacular black dialects, and I would say that he is one of the fathers of today's rap music. Okay, I mean, when you say, I would say it is your own now. No need for quotation for the previous and for the coming, because it is your own ideas. Even part of it is taken from what you call shared knowledge. If the student shifts, here is the problem, okay, take care, shifts to non-general information, then a citation is must, is necessary, is in order. You have to. For example, Hughes has been described by Gerald Early. Yeah, the ideas by, not yours, it is what the ideas of Gerald Early, as the major artistic link between the revolutionary poet Paul Laurence Dunbar and the radical poet Amiri Baraka. And here is the page. It should be cited, should be what referred to. Okay. Next point is common facts. Common facts. Like what you call local knowledge, common facts. Everyone knows. Okay, you can find it in all sources. Sometimes it is not necessary as common or general, not necessary to be what cited. Common factual information that one might find in an almanac or encyclopedia or reference book, directory, fact book, or dictionary need not to be cited. Here is an example. Why again? Because they are what they are common. They became facts and they are general, common, public. Here is the example. As an American founding father, John Adams was a statesman, diplomat, and leading advocate of American independence from Great Britain. A lawyer and public figure in Boston, Adams was a delegate from Massachusetts to the Continental Congress. He assisted Thomas Jefferson in drafting the Declaration of the Independence in 1776 and served as a primary advocate in the Congress. These ideas, their informations are what are common facts. And they are facts, they are available in the majority of what of the sources dealing with this person, with some elements like Continental Congress, like Jefferson, okay, like independence from Great Britain, right? Founding father. All of these, they are what you call common facts. No need to make a sort of what you call citation. If they are from your own mind, if they are from your own mind. The preceding passage need no documentation. Okay. Look now to the opposite. However, when specific incidents are added, so we remember common and specific. General fact, but now we have what? Specific incidents. Those specific incidents are mentioned in specific sources, books, journals, whatever. Okay. In this case, adding are necessary. Are added, the more likely will be the need for documentation. Of course, providing a citation for analysis that goes beyond common facts. If it goes beyond common facts, it becomes what? It becomes specific. In this case, if it is specific, you need to tell from where you got those specific ideas or this specific idea. The achievements of John Adams have received greater recognition in modern times. Okay. Though his contributions were not initially as celebrated as those of the other founding fathers. The other founding fathers. Not he is. So who are the others? Taken from a source. By whom? By Hickson in the page mentioned in page 6 or on page 86. Okay? Like that. So again, we have to what you could differentiate between specific ideas and common facts. Specific facts to be added to your work and common facts. And even the common facts to be careful about what, making them your own way, by your own style of what of writing or paraphrasing or summarizing. Another point, correctly borrowing from a source. The next examples in Miller style demonstrates the differences between accurate use of a source and the dark shades of a plagiarism. If you are not accurate in your using of a source, you will go to a sort of plagiarism. This plagiarism is called dark shades. يكاد هناك معلومة جميلة ودي أقولها. يحوم حول الحمى، يكاد أن يقع فيه. يحوم حول الحمى. Sure, not sure. Dark shades, not confirmed, not sure. Yeah, be sure, be accurate. First is the original reference material. It is followed by the students' versions that use the passages of the passage along with the discussions of their failure and merits. If you go to the second one, shade, what you call dark shades, it means that there is something missing, something lacking in your understanding. Another important and crucial point is what is reading and evaluating sources. After writing your sources in text, references, works cited, bibliography at the end, reread, evaluate, read, evaluate, refine. Starting with point A, finding reliable sources. Several resources are readable or readily at hand to guide you in finding what reliable sources, like what? To be in a good, safe position, in the safe side. There are some other, what you call positions, segments to help you. What are they? Your supervisor. Okay, here it is written as instructor or instructors. Your supervisor, individually. Don't hesitate to ask your guide, your supervisor, for help in finding sources. If I will be a guide or a supervisor of you, surely I will help you, okay, providing you several important sources. From what? From experience, okay? Supervisors know the field, know the best writers, and can provide brief list to get you started. Sure, but not the instructor, the supervisors, the guides, okay? Sometimes supervisors will even pull books from their office shelves to give you a starting point. And this point is old, in the 60s and 50s, but now we have what you call the shelves of internet to provide you with the not tens but hundreds of sources. Okay. After your instructors or supervisors, you have the librarian or librarians. Nobody knows the sources or the sources of the library like the professionals. Definitely, they are evaluated on how will they meet your needs. They are of great help, of course. If you ask for help, they will often walk into the stacks, into the position, stacks, with you to find the appropriate reference books or relevant journal articles in shorter time. Instead of spending half an hour searching among books, he or she, the librarian, will help you in a minute or two. Okay? With your research and writing, you will enter the intellectual discussion found in numerous places. But questions will arise quickly during your reading, like what? So these questions are important again. How do I find and evaluate the best, most appropriate sources? You have to prepare yourself by these. How can I evaluate a source by analyzing its parts or just part of a source? How do I respond to the source information? Should I take quotation? Should I read and understand and write my own summary? Or should I paraphrase? This is your response. One answer to all these three questions is this. Be skeptical and cautious. Very interesting. be skeptical and cautious. You have to be careful again. When I say, what should I do? How do I respond to the source information? By direct, by summary, or paraphrase, after thinking, and again thinking. You have to be what? To be skeptical. Skeptical for what? For making sure. If you are in doubt for a situation, for a perspective, make sure. Through what? Through reading again from different sources until you are confirmed with what you call leaving out skepticism. Okay, or any cautions in your mind should be what? Without cautions. How is that again? Don't accept everything printed word as being the truth. Yeah. You have to make sure. Oh, professor, I found this in that book. I found this idea in that book. What kind of book? Is it authentic? Is it original? Or taken from a blog? Okay, from an extremist? You have to think about that. This chapter cuts to the heart of the matters through the following points. Like what? Like what you call findings. The findings. Finding and evaluating reliable sources. 1. Using a mix of primary and secondary sources. 2. Don't depend on secondary sources. Yes, you have to use what? Primary. And also, if you are using good primary sources, you need others. Responding to the sources, you have to get your own view, your own perspective. Preparing an annotated bibliography or review of literature. You have to, in every work, you have to make an next to annotate, constantly review and verify, constantly, always, after achieving something, with a sort of revision, review and verify to your own satisfaction until you are satisfied. Satisfaction, the words of your source, especially in this age of electronic publication, especially in the age of mixing memory, desire, and so on, as T.S. Eliot says. Okay, in this age of electronic publication, you can, if you write a topic and search on Google, Sheikh Google, in this case you will find what? Hundreds of websites, but some of them, they are what? They are hackers. They are following you. Next point is the library. But the library, now its role is less than before. Now we have the now its role is less than before. Now we have the e-library, not the library, the building and its box, hard box. We have something else now, the e-library. The college library provides the scholarly sources, the best books, certainly, but also the appropriate database and the important journals in your field of study. Here, the writer of this one is not allowed. Okay, so he or she speaks about international. But for us, for example, in Al-Baha University, the matter is totally different. Okay, except if it is e-library. The e-library is correct. The library database are grounded in scholarship, and in general, they are not available to the general public on the web. Yes, right. You can access this information. When you say access, moving into what? Into electronic is much better. With your student identification, a public library may have, but seldom does have, the scholarly resources of an academic library. Like what? When you say a public library, like Al-American, like Jarir, like any bookstore, you can go and find it. Okay, or even public for specific people to borrow, to get help. Okay, but for the colleges and universities, they are what? They are greater than the public libraries. The date. What do you mean by the date? Try to use recent sources. Okay, try to avoid the ancient resources, but not 100%. Ancient resources are important, especially, specifically, if they are what? Authentic or documented books, not newspapers or magazines or stories. A book may appear germane to your work, but if it is copyrighted dates in, for example, 1975, the contents here is we talk about not just a book, but a work, any work. The content has probably been replaced by recent research as a journal, yes, and current developments. Why? Changing as quick as we realize these days. Scientific and technical topics, always, but not literally, not human sciences. Scientific and technical topics always require up-to-date research. So scientific. For humanities, human social sciences, they are what? Different somehow. Learn to depend on monthly and quarterly journals as well as books. This is for general. But if we say concerning scientific and technical topics, not related to us as in the humanities. Okay? So here always we can say that, yeah, sometimes or usually instead of always. Choices. What is the importance of choices in our work, in a research work? An inverted pyramid shows you a progression from excellent sources to less reliable sources. Put the most useful, most important or significant top, okay, like a pyramid, like a pyramid. Here is the base, here is the top, and here is the other base. So here, excellent source here. Then make the less important or what you call less reliable. Less reliable until what? Until the base. Okay. The pyramid chart does not ask you to dismiss items at the bottom, but it indicates that sources at the top are generally more reliable and therefore prefer reliability and validity, sincerity. Okay, I think here is the end of the session today. Yeah, I am glad to find you with great carefulness and listening, with what you could great understanding. Recording is stopped and discussion or answering questions if there are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.